Hi, my name's Ameen Hadi from Stand Up to Racism. I'm also the Northwest Chair for Unison Black Members Committee, and I'm honoured to be here with you, because the first step to challenging racism is to stand up to it. And sometimes it isn't easy to do that. Sometimes you can be fearful about what repercussions it may lead to for actually calling a protest like that today. So first credit goes to the community itself for calling the protest and being brave enough to be here, and so we can show our support to them. The second thing I want to say is that there was one or two people that doubted whether this was anything to do with racism, and I think we need to be clear that when you say all white lives matter and smash up a minibus with an act of vandalism on a black congregation predominantly, then that is an act of racism, because that is about denying the fact that black people disproportionately are impacted by racism in so many ways, including their lives. And it's important that we stand here today because we need to say to everyone that we are the majority, we stand for multiculturalism, we stand for unity of all races, regardless of religion, regardless of sexuality, and we stand together and we will oppose anyone that tries to divide us. Now, I think that obviously every time there is such an incident, and unfortunately these will continue to happen, we need to grow our movement and be bigger and stronger to meet that challenge every time. But I don't think we can just limit our movement to that. Our movement has to be so much more than that. Because if we look at every facet of our lives, whether it's housing, whether it's policing, whether it's employment, black and Asian people find themselves at the bottom of the heap. And that has got to stop. We have to have a society where you have an equal chance to be able to prosper in this life. And this means you have to take on the people that use racism to divide us for their own ends. The Boris Johnsons, the Donald Trumps, the Bolsonaros that use racism to try and perpetuate their system in the interest of the rich and powerful. And they don't care about how many lives it affects or how many die. If they cared, they'd actually have an inquiry into the disproportionate deaths of black people due to COVID, but they do nothing. If they cared, they'd do more about employment and housing and all these other issues. And I think it's incumbent on all of us to fight on all these fronts. We need an education system that doesn't just celebrate Black History for a month, but celebrates the contribution of black people all the year round, that fights for justice all the year round, that says that actually colonialism and slavery are part of what has made Britain great, God help us, made us rich, some people, not others, and actually society that we reject. We want to see an education system that recognises the contribution of black and Asian people that have made society and developed society in the world, not just a negative but a positive. We need to move to that sort of education. We need to move to the sort of society that does call out police brutality. Why is it you're 8 more times likely to be stopped if you're black or Asian than if you're white? Why is it you're more likely to die from COVID? All these things need to be exposed, and we need to have a movement strong enough to do that, because although we can speak out against individual acts of injustice, we know that this is systemic within society. As Councillor Akbar said, this is systemic, and therefore we have to have an organised response to be able to change it once and for all. I believe that we're in the midst of a revolution. I agree with what was said before, but we have to make it real. We have to realise that their side is organised. If we want to change society for the better, we have to be organised as well. So get involved in Stand Up to Racism, join our networks, join our protests when the killers of George Floyd are in court on the 11th of September. There'll be global protests across Britain and across the world on that day. Let's make sure we don't forget and we continue to build a movement that can bring real change for everyone. Thank you.